This one, you can save greater than 100 grand in your taxes while saving for retirement. So go ahead, Jay, with your question.
Well, I mean, I have a 401k with a profit sharing provision. I don't know how to explain it, but uh, I have a company that does the files the tax form for me and tells me how much I can put in and how much I have to contribute to my employees to stay within the IRS guidelines. But I'm wondering, aren't there other retirement vehicles where you can actually a business owner can actually contribute like more than 100,000?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, you could do a defined benefit plan, a cash balance pension plan, where depending on your age, you could sock away well over 100,000 and get a tax write-off. Sometimes as much as 200 or 300 grand, depending on your age. So if you're 30, you can save like 100 grand. If you're 45, you can save like 150, 200. It depends on certain factors. But we get people write-offs in the couple hundred grand range, all for setting up a pension. Now, if you're younger, there's only so much you can put in, but we can help you. We could look at a 401k with profit sharing, cash balance pension plan. You can get a lot more in a cash balance pension plan, defined benefit pension plan, or a non-qualified deferred comp plan. Those three, you could get much more in than the traditional 20 grand a year in a 401k. And if you're doing a profit sharing, maybe you put up to like 60 grand. You could certainly do more than that with these new innovative plans. They're fantastic ideas. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't do even a profit sharing plan. But you could certainly look at a cash balance pension plan. Any questions specifically on the cash balance plan?
Well, I have the 401k with profit sharing, and I'm trying to figure out, is there another plan where I can put away even more, because I'm still paying way too much in taxes. So
Yeah, well, you could do a cash balance pension plan or a pension plan.
okay, all
And
right.
and if you DM me or call my office at 888-988-JOSH and request it, I'll get my pension actuary on the phone and we'll be able to tell you how much you can write off. But yeah, you could definitely write
Okay.
off more than 100 grand with a pension
And
plan.
one other question, if I could.
Sure.
Um, Self-employment taxes. Is there any way to minimize those?
No, and in fact, there's some ways, but let me be clear. This is what I was talking about earlier. You may have missed it. Elizabeth Warren, excuse me, and Bernie Sanders want to make self-employment tax even worse. So for a second, for my voice, describe your situation. How much are you paying in self-employment tax right now? How much do you pay yourself?
Uh, I think I'm paying around 30,000 in self-employment tax.
Are you an S corp, a C corp? Do you know
I'm a
LLC?
sole proprietor.
Oh well, that's the problem right there. You could do an S corp, give yourself a salary that's deemed fair and reasonable by the IRS. Let's say it's 100 grand a year, and then you would only pay that on the 100 grand, not on the unlimited. So you definitely need a good financial planner along with a good tax person. Okay.
Okay, but the reason why I haven't done that is because isn't that going to reduce the amount I can put into my profit sharing 401k plan?
True, but there are ways to kind of. So for me, yeah, there are ways around it legally. But
All
yeah, I
right.
mean, if you're correct in stating that your profit sharing and pension plan are based upon your W-2 income. So your W-2 income is subject to that. But we have to do a cost benefit analysis to see if paying the self-employment tax is worth it for the deduction. But that's a good, sometimes it's worth it to pay the self-employment tax so you get the big deduction, though.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, do you like these life insurance retirement plans that are like the what do they typically use? Index universal life. What do you think of those?
Well, it depends. I mean, I'm not, it depends on your age, but I prefer insurance where there is no rise in cost. Some index universal life policies can be constructed properly. Most are constructed by idiots, but there could be a rising insurance cost. I prefer not giving the insurance company permission to raise rates when I get old. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
With an index
Yeah.
universal life policy, the company can lower the cap and raise your cost of insurance. If you do the same thing with a dividend paying participating whole life from a mutual insurance company, they cannot raise the rate and they cannot cancel you. So I prefer those, but if you if you prefer the IUL because you like greater upside potential, we can fund them properly. But are you talking to all these people on TikTok and all over the web now pushing this?
I, I'm not talking to anybody on TikTok or anything, but I hear like there's a national company. He does these radio shows, and um, I won't mention any names, but they're really big on setting up these index universal life plans as a way to minimize or avoid taxes.
Well, you're not avoiding taxes, and this is the problem. They're idiots if they're telling you that. You are choosing to pay taxes now and then letting the taxes grow tax-free like a Roth. So there's no loophole within insurance.
You phrased that wrong.
Okay, is he going in and
I
out or
think
am
their
I?
point is that they're.
Is it me or is it him?
He's in the matrix.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Can you?
Yeah.
Yes, that's better.
Okay,
I'll
go
just
ahead.
say that their point is that later in life you can use an index universal life by borrowing against the cash value, and when you die you pay back the loan
I got
out
it.
of the death benefit.
So essentially, there are benefits to that, but you got to look at the loan costs, the caps, the spreads, the participation rate, the internal fees. So most people who put considerable money into these plans, like I do, use a chassis where your costs are fixed, which is not the IUL chassis. Although an IUL could be right for you if you properly fund it, I generally don't trust these people with how they fund it. Does that make sense? So it's a
Yeah, Mike.
question of I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It could be right for you. There's just a lot of fine print that I'd want you educated on before you do it with your money.
My concern is if there's a financial contagion or something where the insurance company you're depending on goes belly up.
Well, then I mean that's a risk with anything, right? So you just diversify. If someone like a brokerage with a Fidelity or something like that, you have some with the insurance, you have some with your bank. You diversify institutions if you're worried about institutional risk. But generally, if you pick an A+ rated company, some of these, by the way, they're pushing A- companies, B- companies, B+ companies. If you pick an A+ carrier or higher, these companies have been around since like 1909, many of whom are well capitalized. But that's why you want to go with a company that is highly rated. Does that make sense, Jay?
Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, I appreciate your input, and yeah, I'll reach out to you guys. You might be able to help me.
Yeah, feel free. 888-988-JOSH. Would love to talk to you. We do have an operator standing by, and we could show you about the pension. But my tip on IUL is make sure it's max funded. But I would look at dividend paying participating whole from a mutual carrier, and I would compare the two because one is a little bit less risk, considerable less risk. You may not make as much if the market goes up, but you got to realize the insurance company can raise your internal costs lower your caps. So you got to manage it more like the market. It's not as much of a set it and forget it type account. Okay, any other questions from our Clubhouse live audience? Anybody raise their hand? If not, I'm going to wind the room down. I want to thank you all for joining us. This is Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. Hit the green Monopoly house and join my club, the financial quarterback. If you could join my club, that would be so nice. Tell all your friends about us. And you could check out our YouTube, Josh Jelinski, the financial quarterback. You could also check us out on iTunes. Share with your friends, or get my book, Retirement Reality Check, by going to retirementrealitycheck.com, and you get 3 free gifts when you buy my book. So I want to thank you all for joining us, and have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Thank you. Great info. Appreciate it.